400,000 people stand on the Smyrna waterfront, backs to the burning city, facing the sea where 21 Allied warships lie at anchor. British, American, French, Italian. These ships have room for everyone, but the ships just sit there, watching. Orchestras play on deck, loudly, to drown out the screams of drowning people. Turkish soldiers push refugees into the water, kicking them, driving them to the edge with bayonets. Some jump on their own, choosing drowning over burning alive. Mothers throw their infants toward the ships, hoping someone will pick them up. The babies drown, the ships don't move. The admirals received their orders. Maintain neutrality. September 1922, Smyrna, the jewel of the Aegean, a city where Greeks, Armenians, Turks and Jews lived together for 3,000 years, a cosmopolitan trading port. They called it the Paris of the East. In 2 weeks it will become hell on earth. Between 10 and 125,000 people will die. Up to 400,000 refugees will be trapped on the waterfront for 13 days. Winston Churchill, the future Prime Minister of Britain, will write in his memoirs a quote that should have entered history, but the world chose to forget. Mustafa Kemal's army celebrated its triumph by the burning of the city of Smyrna to ashes and the massacre of Christians. As a methodically planned and methodically executed atrocity, Smyrna must find few parallels in the history of human crime. An infernal orgy, a methodically planned atrocity, the words of a man who witnessed 2 world wars. About a catastrophe almost nobody knows today. You're going to learn 3 things that will change your understanding of how historical memory works. First, how one of the world's most beautiful cities burned for 9 days, and who set it on fire. Dozens of witnesses saw Turkish soldiers with gasoline cans, officers giving orders to torch specific buildings, firefighters whose hoses were slashed with bayonets when they tried to extinguish the flames. Second, why the ships of the great powers watched and didn't help. Why orchestras played, drowning out the screams. Why admirals forbade rescue operations while 400,000 people died 100 meters away. A cynical geopolitical calculation that established priorities, interests over lives. And third, the most incredible part, how one man broke all the orders and saved 350,000 lives. Asa Jennings, a Methodist minister, a disabled man with a curved spine, who met personally with Ataturk, deceived the Greek government, and organized the largest naval evacuation in history before Dunkirk. One man against the system, heroism the world also chose to forget. 13 days of hell, 125,000 dead, one forgotten city. 3 truths about whose tragedies we remember and whose we erase from textbooks. Stay until the end. In the finale, I'll show you a document the Turkish government has been hiding for 103 years. Early September 1922, Smyrna wakes to the sounds of the waterfront. Merchants arrange goods on their stalls. Coffee houses open their doors. The smell of fresh brewed coffee mingles with sea breeze and the aroma of spices. Palm trees sway in the wind. Seagulls cry over the harbor. An ordinary morning in one of the Mediterranean's most beautiful cities. Smyrna is called the Paris of the East. And this isn't hyperbole. Wide boulevards with European architecture, buildings in neoclassical and Art Nouveau styles, luxurious hotels where travelers from around the world stay, theaters staging French plays and Italian operas, cafes where people speak Greek, Turkish, French, Armenian, and English simultaneously, the multilingual hum of a cosmopolitan city. Armenian churches neighbor Greek Orthodox temples. Mosques stand beside synagogues. Church bells mix with the muezzin's call to prayer. A city where different peoples, religions and cultures don't just coexist peacefully, they prosper together. Smyrna's population is 400,000. Half are Greeks, a quarter are Turks. The rest, Armenians, Jews, Levantines, Europeans. The richest trading port in the eastern Mediterranean. Figs, raisins, tobacco, cotton, carpets flow from here to the entire world. European trading houses maintain their offices here. Money flows like a river. The city grows wealthier every year. Greeks have lived here for 3,000 years, since ancient times. Homer may have been born in this city. At least 7 cities compete for that honor, and Smyrna is among them. Ancient Smyrna was one of the 12 Ionian cities, a center of Greek culture and trade. The Apostle Paul preached here in the 2nd century. One of the 7 churches of the Apocalypse mentions Smyrna. The Ottomans conquered the city in 1424, but the Greek population remained. Moreover, it continued to prosper. Ottoman sultans understood the value of Greek merchants, granted them privileges. Greek traders controlled the lion's share of exports. Greek bankers financed business throughout the empire. Greek teachers opened schools. Greek intelligentsia published newspapers and books. Armenians have also lived here for centuries. Craftsmen, jewelers, merchants, doctors, engineers. The Armenian community thrives, builds churches, schools, hospitals. The Armenian quarter is one of the wealthiest in the city. Beautiful houses with gardens, workshops creating products known throughout the East. The American College for Girls sits on a hill above the city. French nuns teach in Catholic schools. British diplomats live in mansions on the waterfront. Italian merchants conduct business in their offices. A city open to the world, multicultural, multi-confessional, prosperous, safe. People walk the same streets their ancestors walked for thousands of years. Greek families live in houses built by their great-grandfathers. Armenian workshops pass from father to son through generations. History feels physical here, in every cobblestone, in every column of old buildings. Nobody knows that in 2 weeks this city will cease to exist. World War I destroyed the Ottoman Empire. It stood for 600 years, controlled the Balkans, Anatolia, the Middle East, North Africa. One of the greatest empires in history, collapsed in 4 years of war. The Allies divide its territories like a pie. Italy gets part of southern Anatolia, France, Syria and Lebanon, Britain, Mesopotamia, which will become Iraq. Greece is promised eastern Thrace and part of western Anatolia, where millions of Greeks live. The Treaty of Sèvres assigns these territories to Greece. The dream of Greek nationalism, the great idea, seems close to realization. May 1919, the Greek army lands in Smyrna. British, French, and American ships stand in the harbor, symbolic support for the operation. Greek soldiers come ashore to the sounds of a military band. Smyrna's Greek population greets them with jubilation. Tens of thousands come out to the waterfront. Greek flags hang from windows. Bells of all the churches ring simultaneously. People weep with joy, embrace the soldiers, throw flowers, shout greetings. Euphoria sweeps the city. For the Greeks, this is liberation. The return of lands lost 500 years ago when the Ottomans conquered the last Greek territories. Realization of the great idea, recreating the Byzantine Empire, reclaiming Constantinople. Greek nationalism at its peak. For the Turks, this is occupation, humiliation, a foreign army on Turkish soil, loss of historical territories considered part of the Turkish homeland. The West humiliates Turks again, as it has for the last 100 years. National trauma deepens. Mustafa Kemal, a young general, hero of Gallipoli, lands in Samsun days after the Greeks arrive in Smyrna. Officially, his task is to disarm Turkish irregular forces. In reality, he begins a war of national liberation, gathers remnants of the Ottoman army in Ankara, organizes resistance, vows to expel the Greeks and all occupiers. The Greco-Turkish War begins. 3 years of bloodshed, atrocities on both sides. The Greek army advances deep into Anatolia, occupies cities, treats the Turkish population brutally, burns villages. Massacres of civilian Turks become routine. Turkish irregular units respond in kind, slaughter Greek villages. The genocide of Pontic Greeks on the Black Sea coast. Hundreds of thousands die. War without rules, war of extermination. Both sides consider it a struggle for national survival. They take almost no prisoners. The civilian population becomes the target. Ancient hatreds accumulated over centuries explode in unprecedented brutality. The Greek army overstretches. Supply lines are extended. Britain, which promised support, refuses to help. Domestic problems matter more. France and Italy secretly support Kemal. They want to weaken British influence in the region. Greece stands alone. August 1922, Kemal launches his counter-offensive, the Battle of Dumlupınar. The Greek army is crushed. Panic retreat begins. Soldiers abandon their weapons. Officers lose control of their units. An organized army turns into a fleeing mob. The Turkish army pursues the Greeks. Brutally, mercilessly. Greek soldiers captured are often killed on the spot. The wounded are finished off. The civilian Greek population flees with the army. Hundreds of thousands stream toward the coast, toward Smyrna. The only path to salvation, evacuation by sea. September 9th, 1922. Turkish cavalry enters Smyrna. The city panics. The Greek army evacuates. The last soldiers board ships and depart, leaving behind 400,000 civilians. Greeks, Armenians, Levantines, everyone who didn't or couldn't leave in time. Mustafa Kemal rides into the city in triumph, on a white horse. Surrounded by generals, crowds of Turkish residents greet the liberator. Turkish flags hang from windows. Shouts of "Yasha! Long live! The national hero has returned Turkish land." The Armenian and Greek quarters fall silent. People close their shutters, hide in their homes, hope it will blow over, that soldiers will limit themselves to looting, that they can wait it out. They're wrong. What Churchill will call an infernal orgy is about to begin. The first arrests begin within hours. Turkish soldiers move through the Armenian and Greek quarters systematically, methodically. Every able-bodied man between 15 and 50 is taken. They claim it's for registration, documentation, starvation. The men will be released soon, they say. Just administrative procedure. The men are marched to collection points. Schools, churches, large buildings that can hold hundreds. They're packed inside, guarded. Families wait outside, bringing food and water. The soldiers accept the offerings. Promise the men will be out tomorrow, maybe the day after. Be patient, but tomorrow comes, and the men are still inside. Then the day after. Then they're loaded onto trucks and trains, taken inland, into Anatolia. The families never see them again. Most will die on forced marches, from exhaustion, starvation, execution. Labor battalions that work until they drop. Mass graves in the Anatolian desert. Tens of thousands disappear this way. The pattern repeats in every city the Turkish army occupies. Women and girls face a different horror. Turkish soldiers roam the streets at night, kicking down doors, dragging women out. Some are taken to barracks. Some are assaulted in their homes while family members are forced to watch. The screams echo through the night, every night, for days. Miss Minnie Mills, director of the American College for Girls, documents everything she witnesses. She's been in Smyrna for decades, speaks Turkish fluently, knows the city intimately. She records it all in her diary and letters. Turkish officers entering homes with lists, targeting specific families, the systematic nature of the violence, the clear chain of command. She writes about a Turkish officer she sees carrying a gasoline can. She confronts him, asks what he's doing. He smiles, tells her in perfect Turkish that he's following orders. Armenian property must be destroyed. Those are his instructions from above. He walks away casually. 20 minutes later, the building is in flames. American and European witnesses flood their embassies with reports. Consul George Horton, American consul in Smyrna for years, sends desperate telegrams to Washington, describes what he's seeing, begs for intervention. The State Department tells him to maintain neutrality, protect American citizens only, do not interfere in Turkish internal affairs. Turkish soldiers patrol the streets openly, carrying loot, furniture, carpets, jewelry. They load it onto trucks in broad daylight. Officers supervise. The looting is organized, systematic, not random chaos, planned redistribution of property from Christians to Muslims. The Greek and Armenian commercial districts are stripped bare. Shops are emptied. Warehouses cleared. Everything of value disappears. The merchants who built these businesses over generations watch helplessly. Some try to hide valuables. Turkish soldiers seem to know exactly where to look. Informants have been preparing lists for months. Churches are targeted. Ancient icons ripped from walls. Gold and silver stripped from altars. Religious manuscripts, some centuries old, thrown into the streets. Smyrna's metropolitan cathedral, where generations of Greek families were baptized and married, is vandalized. The patriarch's vestments are found later in a Turkish bazaar. The Jewish quarter remains mostly untouched. Jewish property is spared. Turkish soldiers are given specific orders. Jews are not the target. This selectivity proves the violence is not spontaneous. Someone is giving very specific instructions about who is targeted and who isn't. European residents watch from their enclaves. The Franks, as Levantines are called, feel temporarily safe. They have consuls, warships in the harbor flying their flags. Protection, they believe. They're wrong, but don't know it yet. When the fire comes, it won't distinguish between Greek, Armenian, and European. September 13th, early afternoon. Someone spots smoke rising from the Armenian quarter. A single column at first, then another, then several more. Within an hour, dozens of fires burn simultaneously across the Armenian district. The speed and distribution make spontaneity impossible. Turkish fire brigades arrive, but they don't fight the fires. They watch. When Armenian residents try to organize bucket brigades, soldiers stop them. When the city's Greek firefighters arrive with their equipment, Turkish soldiers slash their hoses, cut them with knives and bayonets. The firefighters protest. They're beaten. Some are shot. Miss Mills watches from the college on the hill. She has a clear view of the entire city. She sees soldiers moving methodically from building to building. She sees them entering with containers. Moments later, flames erupt. Building after building, street after street. The pattern is unmistakable. American sailors from the destroyers in the harbor also have a clear view. They're equipped with binoculars, watch the city through naval optics. They report what they see to their commanders. Men in Turkish army uniforms systematically setting fires. Officers directing the operation. The sailors want to help. Their commanders forbid it. Neutrality. Orders from Washington. The wind picks up. September in Smyrna is hot and dry. The wind blows from the east. Perfect conditions for fire to spread, almost as if someone planned it. The flames jump from the Armenian quarter to the Greek quarter. Both border each other. The fire connects them into one inferno. By evening, half the city is burning. The flames create their own weather. Heat rises, pulling in air from all directions. The wind intensifies. Embers fly through the air, starting new fires blocks away. The fire grows exponentially. What started as dozens of separate blazes merges into one massive conflagration. The temperature rises dramatically. People blocks away from the flames feel the heat. It becomes difficult to breathe. The air itself seems to burn. Smoke fills the streets. Thick, black, choking smoke. People cover their faces with wet cloths. It barely helps. Panic spreads faster than the fire. Hundreds of thousands realize simultaneously that they need to flee. But where? The fire blocks the inland routes. Turkish soldiers block the roads leading north and south. Only one direction remains: west, toward the waterfront, toward the sea, toward the Allied ships. The exodus begins. Not organized, not orderly, pure panic. Families grab what they can carry. Some try to take too much. Furniture, family heirlooms. They abandon it within blocks. The streets are already clogged. You can't move with a piano when hundreds of thousands are running. Parents carry children. The elderly are helped by younger family members. Some can't keep up. They fall behind, get swept away by the crowd. Families are separated in the chaos. A child's hand slips from a mother's grip. The crowd pushes them apart. She screams his name. The crowd drowns out her voice. She never sees him again. The streets leading to the waterfront become rivers of humanity, pressed shoulder to shoulder, moving slowly despite the panic. Too many people trying to fit through too few streets. The heat from behind pushes them forward. The fear of burning alive overrides everything. Some try to go back for family members. Impossible. The crowd moves in one direction only, forward, toward the water. Fighting against it is like fighting a river current. You'll be trampled, crushed. People fall, others step on them. Can't help it. Too crowded to stop, too panicked to notice. The fire catches up to the slowest, the elderly, the infirm, those carrying too much. Flames engulf them. Their screams add to the cacophony. The crowd surges forward harder. Desperation compounds. Everyone can hear the fire, feel the heat, smell the smoke, see the glow. Death is behind them. Buildings collapse as the fire consumes their structural supports. Walls fall into the streets, some onto the fleeing crowds. Dozens are crushed. The survivors scramble over the rubble, over the bodies. Survival instinct overrides humanity. There's no stopping, no going back, only forward. Finally, the crowd spills onto the waterfront. The quay is wide, 100 meters of open space between the buildings and the sea. Space to breathe, space to think. But that relief lasts seconds, because hundreds of thousands are arriving, and they all need the same space. The waterfront fills beyond capacity. 400,000 people crush onto a space meant for a fraction of that. Body to body, unable to move, unable to sit, just standing, waiting, hoping. The sea is in front of them, salvation. But how to reach it? How to get onto those ships? 21 warships sit in the harbor. Their presence is both hope and torture. Help is right there, 100 meters away, but might as well be on the moon. The ships sit at anchor, motionless, watching, observing, recording, but not helping. The fire burns behind the crowd. The heat is unbearable even at the waterfront. People nearest the buildings suffer most. The fire is blocks away but feels close enough to touch. The smoke is constant, thick, black. It stings the eyes, makes breathing difficult. Children cry. The elderly collapse. There's nowhere to go. The crowd is packed too tight. Night falls. The fire continues. The flames illuminate the night sky, bright enough to read by. The glow reflects off the water, off the hulls of the watching ships. The contrast is surreal. Hell on one side, calm sea on the other, and in between, 400,000 people trapped. The temperature doesn't drop with nightfall. The fire keeps the air hot. People are thirsty, desperate for water. Some try to drink seawater. It makes them sicker. Some cup their hands and try to collect water at the edge. The crowd pushes. People fall in, can't swim in the crowd. They drown within sight of the ships. Orchestras play on the decks of the Allied warships. It's not celebration, it's psychological defense. The admirals order the music to drown out the screams. The sailors need to maintain morale, can't function if they hear the cries for help all night. The music plays loud, jazz, popular songs, anything to mask the sound of 400,000 people suffering. American destroyers sit closest to shore. The USS Edsall, the USS Lawrence, the USS Litchfield. Their crews stand at the rails, looking at the crowd. Some sailors weep openly. They want to help. Their officers forbid it. Admiral Bristol's orders from Constantinople are clear. Do not intervene. Protect American citizens only. Everyone else is a Turkish internal matter. But the line between American citizen and everyone else blurs. Many people on the waterfront have American connections. Family members who emigrated, business partners, former students of American schools. They call out to the ships, beg in English, show documents, anything to prove a connection. Some sailors can't take it anymore. They disobey orders, lower boats quietly, row to shore, pull people aboard, children mostly. Can't save everyone, but can save some. They smuggle refugees back to the ships, hide them below decks, risk court-martial. Do it anyway. Can't just watch. British ships maintain stricter discipline. His Majesty's Navy follows orders, no exceptions. Their admiral is even more explicit than the American. Do not interfere under any circumstances. Britain has larger strategic concerns. Kemal is Britain's bulwark against Soviet expansion. Can't jeopardize that relationship for refugees. French and Italian ships follow suit. Neutrality, non-intervention, strategic interests. 400,000 lives weighed against geopolitical calculations. The scales tip predictably. The ships stay anchored. The people stay trapped. The fire burns on. Days pass. The fire continues burning for 9 days total. 9 days of hell. The flames eventually consume everything flammable in the Greek and Armenian quarters. Buildings collapse into smoldering rubble. Entire neighborhoods reduced to ash. The Turkish and Jewish quarters remain untouched. The selectivity is impossible to ignore. 400,000 people remain trapped on the waterfront. The sun rises each morning, beats down mercilessly. September in Smyrna is hot. People have no shade, no shelter, just open quay under relentless sun. Dehydration becomes the new killer. Children suffer most, the elderly next. People collapse from heat stroke, from exhaustion, from despair. Turkish soldiers maintain a cordon. Armed guards patrol the perimeter. Anyone trying to leave toward the city is turned back. Bayonets enforce the blockade. The waterfront becomes an open-air prison. 400,000 inmates. The only exit is by sea, and the ships won't take them. Food runs out quickly. People brought what they could carry. A loaf of bread, some dried fruit, maybe cheese. It's gone within days. Hunger sets in. Babies cry. Parents can't feed them. There's nothing left. Some Turkish vendors appear selling bread and water, charging extortionate prices. A single loaf costs a week's wages. People pay. What choice exists? Sanitation collapses immediately. 400,000 people with nowhere to go. No toilets. No facilities. They relieve themselves where they stand. The smell becomes overwhelming. Human waste mixes with seawater at the edges. Disease follows quickly. Dysentery spreads. Cholera appears. People get sick, vomit, defecate where they stand, can't move through the packed crowd. Conditions deteriorate hourly. Women give birth on the waterfront, standing up, supported by strangers. No doctors, no midwives, no privacy. Babies are born into hell. Some survive, many don't. Mothers hemorrhage, bleed to death in the crowd. The body stays upright, held by the press of humanity around it. Hours pass before anyone realizes she's dead. Turkish soldiers select women from the crowd, young ones, pretty ones, point them out, pull them from their families. The families resist. The soldiers use rifle butts, bayonets. The women are dragged away screaming, taken to barracks, assaulted. Some return after days, broken, silent, staring at nothing. Others never come back. Corpses accumulate. People die standing up, from dehydration, from disease, from despair. The bodies can't fall because the crowd is too dense. They remain upright. Eventually someone notices, tries to move the body, carry it somewhere. Where? There's nowhere to take it. Bodies are pushed to the edges, thrown into the water. They float, drift, accumulate along the quay. The smell of death joins the smell of smoke and human waste. Turkish soldiers periodically push into the crowd, select men randomly, pull them out, march them away. Shots ring out. The men don't return. Execution for no reason. Terror to maintain control. Random violence to keep people compliant. It works. The crowd stays passive, too exhausted, too demoralized to resist. Children get separated from parents, wander the waterfront crying. Thousands of orphans created in days. Some parents died in the fire, others died on the quay. Children too young to understand, just crying for mama, for papa. Strangers try to comfort them. What else can they do? Everyone is suffering. But a crying child breaks hearts even in hell. Ships in the harbor change shifts. Fresh crews replace exhausted ones. The new sailors see the scene for the first time. The horror registers on their faces. They've heard about it, but seeing it is different. 400,000 people pressed together. The smell reaches the ships. The sounds carry across the water. Despite the orchestras, despite everything, some captains disobey orders quietly. Lower boats after dark. Take refugees aboard. Not many. Can't rescue everyone, but some. Priority to children, to pregnant women, to the clearly dying. They do what they can. Court-martial be damned. Some things matter more than orders. A Japanese freighter arrives to load cargo. The captain sees the scene, makes a decision immediately, dumps his entire cargo into the harbor. Cotton bales, lumber, trade goods, all overboard, creates space, starts loading refugees, packs them in like sardines, doesn't care, takes everyone he can fit, leaves with triple his ship's capacity, returns for another load. One Japanese captain saves thousands, while 21 warships watch. American missionaries work the crowd. YMCA workers, Red Cross volunteers. They move through distributing what little they have, water, bandages, comfort. Asa Jennings is among them, Methodist minister, assigned to the Smyrna YMCA years ago, knows the city. knows the people, loves them. Jennings is 45 years old, physically unprepossessing, curved spine from tuberculosis as a child, walks with a slight limp, looks weak, sick even, but his mind is sharp, and his conscience won't let him just watch. He's been documenting everything, writing reports, sending them to YMCA headquarters, to the State Department, to anyone who will listen. He sees the ships, sees the refugees, does the math. The ships could evacuate everyone in a week, maybe less if they worked around the clock, but they won't. Politics, strategy, national interests. Refugees don't factor into those calculations. Jennings thinks this is insane, immoral, evil. He decides to do something about it. First, he needs permission from the Turkish authorities. Can't evacuate anyone if Turkey says no. The soldiers will just shoot people trying to board ships. Jennings requests a meeting with Kemal himself. Everyone thinks he's crazy. A minor American missionary wants to meet the victor of the Greco-Turkish War, the man who just conquered Smyrna. Absurd. But Jennings persists, uses every contact, every connection, calls in every favor built over years in Smyrna, gets an audience, takes a train to Kemal's headquarters, walks in with his limp and his shabby clothes, sits across from the man Churchill called a war criminal. The meeting is extraordinary. Jennings speaks frankly, tells Kemal the situation is inhumane. 400,000 people will die if nothing changes. Disease, starvation. The international response will be catastrophic. Turkey's reputation will suffer. Kemal just won a war. Why tarnish the victory with this? Kemal listens. He's pragmatic, understands public relations. The Western press is already writing terrible things. The longer this continues, the worse it gets. Jennings offers a solution. Organized evacuation. Remove the refugees cleanly, quickly. Turkey gets credit for humanitarian gesture. The refugees leave peacefully. Everyone wins. Kemal agrees, gives written permission. Jennings can organize the evacuation, coordinate with Turkish authorities. One condition, though. Greece must provide the ships. Turkey won't. The refugee crisis is Greece's problem. They wanted these people. They can come get them. Jennings leaves with the document, returns to Smyrna. Now faces a different problem. Greece just lost a war, catastrophically. The government is in chaos. The army is shattered, the economy is collapsed, and Jennings needs them to immediately provide a fleet of ships to evacuate refugees. Impossible. He tries official channels first, cables the Greek government, explains the situation, begs for ships, gets bureaucratic delays. Committees need to meet, decisions need approval, resources need allocation, red tape, excuses. Meanwhile, people die by the hundreds every day. Jennings decides to act unilaterally, makes a plan so audacious it borders on insane. He'll commandeer ships himself. Greece has vessels in nearby ports, merchant ships, passenger vessels, empty after evacuating the Greek army, sitting idle while refugees die. Jennings will take them. He forges documents, not complicated forgeries, just official-looking papers with impressive seals and signatures. Claims he's acting on direct orders from the Greek Prime Minister. Authorized to requisition any vessel for refugee evacuation. The captains will never verify. Communication is chaos. War just ended. Nobody knows who's in charge. Perfect conditions for a con. September 24th. Jennings arrives at Mytilene, Greek island close to Smyrna, harbor full of Greek ships. He boards vessels one by one, presents his forged documents, orders captains to proceed to Smyrna, load refugees. Some captains hesitate. Jennings doesn't give them time to think, speaks with absolute authority, acts like refusal is unthinkable. Most comply. One captain refuses outright, says his ship isn't going back to Turkey. Too dangerous. Jennings needs that ship. It's the largest one available. He can't take no for an answer. Pulls a bluff. Tells the captain that Admiral Bristol personally requested this vessel. The American Navy is watching. Refusal will have consequences. The captain caves, heads to Smyrna. Jennings assembles a fleet, 30 ships initially, passenger vessels, cargo ships, anything that floats and can carry people. They sail for Smyrna under Jennings's direction. He coordinates everything, loading schedules, destinations, distribution. One man organizing the largest maritime evacuation in history to that point. The ships arrive September 25th. Refugees see them coming. Hope explodes through the crowd. Salvation, real salvation, tangible, visible. The mood shifts instantly. From despair to desperate hope, everyone surges toward the water, trying to get closer, to be first, to ensure their place. Turkish soldiers try to maintain order, establish loading procedures, but 400,000 people are beyond controlling. They've been waiting 2 weeks. Children are dying, the elderly are dead, everyone is desperate. Order collapses immediately. People rush the boats, swim out to ships, climb up the sides, pour onto decks. The ships load beyond capacity, beyond safety. Decks packed solid, holds crammed full, people hanging off the sides. Captains worry the ships will capsize, but they keep loading. What choice exists? Turn people away, send them back to die. Loading continues day and night. Ships arrive empty, leave bursting with humanity, sail to Greek islands, unload, return immediately, rotating constantly. Mytilene, Chios, Lesbos, Samos. The islands absorb wave after wave of refugees, tens of thousands landing daily. The islands are overwhelmed but keep accepting them, keep providing whatever they can. Jennings coordinates relentlessly, barely sleeps, moves between ships, solves problems, requisitions more vessels, more captains hear about the operation, volunteer, want to help. The fleet grows, 40 ships, 50, 60, more. Greek captains who fled the war return to save civilians, risk everything. Turkish authorities could change their minds, arrest everyone, sink the ships, but the captains come anyway. The evacuation continues for 10 days, ship after ship, load after load. The waterfront gradually empties. 400,000 becomes 300,000, then 200,000, then 100,000. The end becomes visible, actually achievable. People dare to hope they'll survive. Jennings personally saves over 350,000 lives. One man, acting alone, defying orders, forging documents, lying, stealing, breaking every rule, saving more lives than anyone else in that war, more than all the admirals, all the diplomats, all the governments combined. One Methodist minister with a curved spine did what 21 warships wouldn't.